this ain't no interview. Shorty is your enemy, cause baby I'm so in her. She ain't impressed when these niggas call her pretty. She be knowing that they only interested in getting kitty. They ain't getting no attention, so they label us a ditty. But it ain't the case though. That grade point average 4.0. Shorty securing the bag, she be getting the dough. You be killing them, and it's oh so painful. These other hoes see it, so sometimes they be hateful. But I don't phase her, mind too stable. Gotta take the time out, the dang who raised you. The way Shorty put herself together so tasteful. The way that she step inside her room so graceful. Serious nigga, but she like when I'm playful. So I'm trying to play you close like what I play bagels. But I know that you got a lot on the table. So when a nigga be getting your time, you grateful. So, tell me, is your enemy? Cause baby, I'm so into you. Trying to spend a little time, something like an interlude. So I got a few questions, but this ain't no interview. Shorty is your enemy, cause baby, I'm so into. And I'm loving your vibe. Not gonna hold you, I ain't gonna lie. Guilty as charged, I got no alibi. Best part about it, I don't even try. I know you got walls up, I seen what's inside. Beautiful place that I wanna reside. Letting you know that I'm down for the ride. So come A to Z with a G and let's slide. Look shorty, we don't need no ring. I'm saying you could be my queen, I could be your king. I'm in it for the long haul, girl, this ain't no fling. Down for whatever's clever and the weather it bring. Fall, summer, winter, spring, whatever you need, it ain't no thing. See, me and you can have the word on the string, and the nigga gotta rap because I can't sing. So, tell me, is your enemy? Cause baby, I'm so into you. Trying to spend a little time, something like an interlude. But I got a few questions, and this ain't an interview. Shorty is your enemy, cause baby, I'm so into you. 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 I've been listening to too much Fitty, cause I wanna put a hole in any nigga fucking with me. Yeah. Listening to too much Fitty, cause I don't give a fuck if any nigga fucking with me. Yeah. Listening to too much Fitty, all I wanna do is release my inner gangster, gangster, yeah. Listening too much Fitty, all I wanna do is release my inner gangster. I've been listening to too much Fitty, cause I wanna put a hole in any nigga fucking with me. Many men. Listening too much Fitty, cause I don't give a fuck if any nigga fuck with me. Give a fuck, son. What up, cuz? Listening to too much Fitty, all I wanna do is release my inner gangster, gangster, yeah.
Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shemel Shai Barakatham to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Athon Bashemel Shai to all the sisters. I'm priest and officer of 50 Sharia 1. And we are the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Tonight is Friday's night Lashawan Qadash class. All right. If you've been following along, this is No Cowards Canada. This is the school of I.S.U.P.K. Canada. And every Friday night, we teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their original language. Understand? This is the language that was given to Adam. Understand? And this is the language that our ancestors spoke. You understand? Every Friday night, we're learning that original language. We're trying to come back to our culture, learn to speak our own language, and build this kingdom of heaven. You understand? So if you've been following along, every Friday night, we start off going over the alphabet. All right. If you speak English, this is different from the English language. Understand our language, the Lashawan Qadash, it doesn't have letters, it has characters. Understand? A character is a picture of something. You understand? Every character in the Hebrew alphabet means something. All right. For example, the first letter in the Lashawan Qadash is an alap. Alap. And an alap means an ox or a cow or a bull. You understand? So what we're going to start off doing, like we do every Friday class here in No Cowards, Canada, is we're going to start off going over the basics of our language. All right? We're going to start off learning the alphabet. We're going to learn the alphabet. We're going to practice the alphabet. And we're going to practice pronouncing the alphabet. All right? That way we can pronounce and speak Hebrew. All right? So the first character we got in the Lashawan Qadash, the first character is an alap. All right. So the first character is an alap. All right, and it looks like this, and that's an ox. And what we're also going to practice is we're also going to practice the Assyrian. All right. The reason we practice the Assyrian is because most of the manuscripts that we have today, when we're learning to understand the Bible, to translate the Bible, most of those words or most of those manuscripts that we have, they're all in Assyrian. All right. There was a time where our ancestors went into captivity under the Assyrians. All right, that was the Babylonian captivity. And during that captivity, we picked up another language or another form of Hebrew. All right. So that's the first character we have. This is the Lashawan Qadash. This is the Assyrian. All right. The next character we have is pronounced Ba. All right. That's how it looks. We pronounce it Ba. And in the Assyrian, it looks like that. All right. The next character that we have in the Lashawan Qadash is pronounced Ga. Ga. All right. We have A, Ba, Ga. And the next one is a Da. All right. Da. We have a, ba, ga, and a da. Now, a lot of people wonder why the school of I.S.U.P.K, all the brothers in I.S.U.P.K, wear an emblem or represent this symbol. All right. All this symbol is a da. I'll make it bigger so everybody can see. So go ahead and write these down. If you haven't seen this before, we have a, ba, ga, and a da. All right. And this symbol that I was saying, this character that's a da, right, called a dalat, which means house. We represent our king. All right. Who is the root and the offspring of David. Right? You put these characters and you just flip them upside. You flip one of these characters right side up and you just overlap it. This is the signature of our king. All right? His name is Da Wada. Right? Which means David. All right? So that's just where that symbol comes from. That's just King David's signature. All right, so we did Da. The next character we have is a Ha, pronounced Ha. All right. That's the Lashawan. This is the Assyrian. We have Abagadaha, we have a Wa. This is a Wa. All right. So Wa means hook. Abagadaha, Wa. We have a Za. So a Za looks just like a Z or a Z in the English. With a Za, then we have a Ka. All right, that's a ka. What's a kata? We have ka. We have a ta. Pronounced ta. All right, it's a picture of a basket. Pronounced like that. Ta. T-A. Go ahead and write that down. It's good to take notes. This is your first time. We're learning a new language. All right. A lot of people over here in North America, most of us speak English. A couple of us speak Spanish or French as a second language. So when you're learning a new language, it's good to learn the alphabet first. Learn how it's pronounced. Learn to pronounce each character. Right? We have ha, wa, za, ka, and a ta. Right? You learn to pronounce each character. That way, if you ever look at some of our scriptures in the Lashawan Qadash, the original language, you can begin to pronounce the words and sound the words out on your own. Right? You would see something like Exodus 14, right? Verse 2 would say, Da-bara, Allah, Banaya, Yashara Allah, Waya, Shabaya, Waya, Kanawa, right? We learn the characters, that way we can learn to read and pronounce these words, right? Sound out what we're saying. And eventually over time, you'll be able to translate these words. That way you can understand what they're saying, right? Like I think I was just in Exodus 14, right? That word Yashar Allah means Israel, right? As you learn to pronounce this out, right? Where was that word? This word right here. You have a Ya, a Sha, a Ra, an Ah, and a La. Right? Over time, you'll be able to translate words and you'll be able to understand what you're reading. And as for us, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're trying to return back to our language, to our culture. Right? If you read the book of Jeremiah, let me pull that out. Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And it reads, And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. Understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they have no knowledge of self. They don't understand their identity, where they come from, their culture, what gods their ancestors were worshiping, what language they were speaking, what they were doing before slavery, before captivity. Understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we've been over here in North and South Central America for over 400 years. Understand? We are not black. You understand? Black is my t-shirt. It's a color. It's not a nationality. You understand? Black is not a race of people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we actually descend from somebody. We actually have a nation. We actually have a culture, a language. You understand? And that's what we're coming back to learn. All right, so I think we're around Abagada, Ha, Waza, Kata. This is the 9th character, Ka. I'm pretty sure that our language, we have 22 characters in our alphabet. All right, 22 characters. In our language, we don't have any vowels. All right, we just did Ka, Ta. Next, we have a Ya. The Lashawan, Qadash, there are no vowels. All right. And Lashawan Qadash means holy tongue or ancient tongue. We have a Ya, Ka. Next, we have a Ka. Now, something you'll see is that in the Assyrian, there's actually 5 characters that have 2 different symbols. All right. That's why I say it's good to take notes, and it's good to practice this daily. All right. Practice how to pronounce it. Practice how to pronounce each character, and practice how to write down what each character looks like. All right. So we have a Ka. Next, we have a La. So a La, just like in English, it looks like an L. We have a La. Next, we have a Ma. Again, the Ma in the Assyrian has 2 different characters. All right. We have Kalama Na. Next, we have a Na. Those are the next characters. We have Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na. Over Na. Next, we have a Sa. So we have Sa. Then we have an I. Right. Sa is a sign. I is an eye, like an eyeball. Then we have a Pa. Right? We have a Pa. If you look at what a P looks like in the English, just imagine almost writing like the P without the line straight down. Right? So that's Pa. Now this is the Assyrian. Again, it has 2 characters for the Pa. Pa. We have a Tazah next. Tazah. right? Tazah looks like this. Sa, I, Ha, Tazah. And we got 4 more. All right. That was Tazah. Next we have a Kwa. Now check your pronunciation on this, because in the English we might pronounce it where it all sounds the same. We have these 3 characters, right? Right? So these 3 characters in the English, you might pronounce it the same, but you got to pay attention to these characters, all right? In Lashawan, we have a Q sound, we have a CH sound, and a K sound. So how you would pronounce this one is you would start with a Ka, and you're almost saying Ka-ha, Ka-ha, Ka, Ka, right? When you're reading that fast, it would be Ka, Ka, right? If you slow it down, it would be Ka-ha, Ka-ha, right? So that CH sound is Ka. When you have the Q sound for this symbol here, right? This is the symbol of a weapon, all right? And you pronounce it Kwa, Kwa. And then this pronunciation right here is simple. It's just Ka, right? Just like you would pronounce it in the English, Ka. All right, so we have a Kwa, then we have a Ra, right? Which I think it means flag or a sign. Oh, Sulaki, let me get that. Make sure we get that right. Sulaki, this means head, right? This is a head. This was a symbol. That was a symbol for sign, like I said earlier. This means head. This is head. We have Ra. We have a Shah. We have a Shah. And the last one is a Tha. All right? We have a Tha. So everything in the Hebrew is right to left. All right? It's not like it's different from English, where we read everything left to right. In the Lashawan Qadash, everything is right to left, all right? So you have A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Za, Wa, Ra, Sha, and a Tha, right? You just gotta practice. It's not too hard. It's not hard at all to pick up. It just takes practice. You understand? It's not something that should be feeling overwhelming or hard to learn or impossible. You just have to start down. You have to start with your foundation. You got to start with your basics. All right? So that's our whole alphabet, right? All 22 characters. Right? When I was learning this, I had a notebook. I wonder if I could pull that up. No, maybe not. But when I was learning, I had a notebook, and every day on every page, I just wrote the alphabet over and over and over. Right? Write it down 100 times if you have to, 200 times. Understand? Until you learn it. And when I was doing that, it actually only took me maybe 3 or 4 days to memorize all the characters. Right? So in the Assyrian, we have an A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Sa, Ka, Ta, Ya, Sa. Right? And then this is your Assyrian. Now, the reason the Assyrian's important is because when you go into translating a word, they give you the Assyrian, right? This word, they have a sha, a ma, and a ta, right? That word I just showed you, they had a sha, a ma, and a ta, right? So this is your Assyrian. And then in the Lashawan, now you can actually translate it. Where you have a sha, a ma, and a ta, right? The word is shamat. Shamata, shamat. And this word in the Assyrian, or this word in the English, means to release, to let drop or loose. Right? Or to rest or to fall. Shamat, to release. Right? This is Jeremiah 17:4. It says, and thou, even thou thyself, shall discontinue. Discontinue means to release. Right? To release, to let drop, or to loose. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we've dropped, we've loosed our heritage. You understand? To let drop or fall. Right? The Strong's definition says a primitive root to fling down, to let alone, to remit, to release. Right? Shamat. And that's why it's important for us to learn the Assyrian. Right? So we have a abagada hawazakata ya kalamana sa I.P.A taza kwa ra shatha. All right. Now, something else that we're going to learn that we've been practicing every Friday. Something we've been learning that we're going to practice every Friday is our numbers. Right? In the English, something you do as a baby or as a kid, one of the first things you learn is to quantify things. Right? You start getting to the age of 2 and 3. Right? It's a good thing to learn as a baby, to learn to be able to communicate with people. And that's learning to quantify things. Right? So we're going to practice our numbers. So our first number 1, right? 1 is Akkad. So 1 is Akkad. Akkad. 2 is Shania. All right. Akkad is 1, means 1. Shania means 2. We have Akkad, Shania, Shalash, which means 3. And then 4, we have Rabbi. Four, we have Kamash. Five is Kamash. Six is Shasha. Seven is Shabai. All right. We have Shalash. Right? These connectors here, they let you know how to pronounce a word. Right? So right here we have a Sha. And you pronounce Sha because it's singular. Right? You do the full pronunciation of that character. Then when you have a connector that connects two characters, right? It's almost like a smiley face, right? You have a smiley face and a frown, right? When you have that character that looks like a smiley face, you connect the two characters, right? You connect the La and the Sha. So instead of pronouncing this word Sha, La, Sha, you pronounce it Sha, and then these are connected, so it's Lash, Shalash. right? So shalash is 3. This is how we pronounce it, shalash. Number 4 is rabbi. Rabbi. 5 is kamash. Kamash. 6 is shasha. Shasha. 7 is shabai. Shabai. We're just going to go to 10. Eight is Shamawana. Nine is Thashai. Right? And 10 is I-Shara. Right? So we had 8 is Shamawana. 9 is Thashai. And 10 is I-Shara. All right. So those are some of the basics. Today's lesson, what we're going to go over is we're going to go over the 10 commandments, right? What the world calls the 10 commandments. Right? When you read through the when you read from Genesis to Revelation, right, we have hundreds upon hundreds of laws, statutes, and commandments. All right? There's a lot more than just 10. But in the world, a lot of us may have heard that before or familiar with that, of hearing the 10 commandments. All right? And if you ask those people in the world, what are the 10 commandments? Many people probably have no idea what they are. Right? In Christianity teaches there's 10 commandments. And a lot of Christians don't know what those 10 commandments are. So what we're going to do today, we'll see how time goes. But we'll break down those 10 commandments in the Hebrew. All right? In our language. The Lashawan Qadash. All right, so we have number 1. The first commandment is, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Right? So let's break this down in the Hebrew. All right. This is how we would read it in the Hebrew. And we'll write it fully out. That way you can all copy it down. All right. Get the correct spelling. Alahayim. Al-Panya. So we have La'a. La'a means no. Yaha, Yalka is thou have. La, Yahal, Yalka, Alahayim, Al-Panya. Alahayim is powers. All right, this is the Hebrew. Let's say La, Yahal, Yalka, Alahayim, Al-Panya. All right, La means no. Yaha, Yalka is thou have. Alahayim means gods or powers. Al-Panya, which means before me. All right, let's go to the second commandment. First one is, thou shalt have no other gods before me. All right, that was one. And what we'll do, something you can put with your notes. Let's add this. Something you can add with, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Right? This is a part of our culture. Right? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Deuteronomy 6:4 says, Shammai, right? Which means hear or to hear. Yashar Allah, Yashar Allah, Israel. Yahweh, this is the Lord's name. Allahayanawa, right? Which means our power. Here. Hear Israel. The Lord Hear Israel, Shema Yashrala, Yahweh Allahayanawa, Yahweh Akkad. Is one. Right? Shema Yashrala, Yahweh Allahayanawa, Yahweh Akkad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Give you a second to write that down. All right, hopefully that's enough time. If not, you can always pause it. Right, you can pause, rewind. This tape is being recorded. You can go back on YouTube and rewatch it later. All right, but let's keep moving. This is the second commandment. All right, the second commandment, thou shalt not make any graven image. All right, we see that word again, la'ah. Write it fully out in Hebrew first. All right. So I'm spelling this out so you can pronounce the words, right? We have la, thasha, laka, pasal, wa la'a, tha'ai, badam. All right? And what this means is how we would translate that. Right? The word la'a is no. Thasha, thou shalt have. Thasha laka is thou shalt have. Pasal is a graven image. Wa la'a, la'a is no. And wa is and. The I, badam, is serve them. Right? Thou shalt not make any graven image or serve them. Right? When we read things in the English, because when we read in the Hebrew, a lot of these words, right, like the shalaka, right, it has in the English a couple words in one. Right? We have this word wa, which is a preposition. So when you put that in front of la, look like this. right? In the Hebrew, you would see wa-la-ah, wa-la-ah, right? In the English, this would be two separate words. But in the Hebrew, you would read it as one word. And you would understand that this character is a preposition, right? And you put it before a word, and that character wa means and, right? So wa-la-ah, it means and no. If it didn't have the wa in there, it would just look like this, la. It would mean no. All right, so this is the second commandment. Thou shalt not make any graven image or serve them. La'ah, Pasha, Laka, Pasal, Wa-la'ah, Ta'ai, Badam. All right, let's move on. All right, so the third one we got. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. All right? And the Hebrew for this, again, we have la, which means no. Right? La. For la, quakath, thou take. We have Sham, Yahweh, Ba, Hasham. Salakia. Ba Hasham is in the name. This word is Ba Shawa. Ba Shawa. Right? So La is no. The La Quakath is thou take. Yahweh is the Lord. Sham is name. Bahasham is name. Sham is the root word. Sham means name. This is Ba Shawa, which means Ba is in, Ba Shawa. Shawa is vein. Thala Kwak Gath. Sham Yahawah Ba Shawa. This word in the Assyrian. That's what we would see in the Assyrian. Those are the characters we would see. All right, next we got we're on the 4. The 4th commandment is to remember the Sabbath. Sabbath is Shabbat. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Right? This word is Qadash, holy. So we got remember is Zakar. Zakar. Right? We have Zakar. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. There's Zakar, Ha Yawam. Remember the day. We have Shabbat. Shabbat La. La is 2. And then we have Qadash Wa. Qua. Qadash Wa. Write it like this. All right. So we got remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. All right. Zakar ha yawam Shabbathla Qadashwa. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Zakar ha yawam Shabbathla Qadashwa. Zakar yawam Shabbathla Qadashwa. Zakar hawalam Shabbathwa Qadashwa. All right. Next we have honor thy mother or honor thy father. Right? In the Hebrew, everything is masculine. Everything is rank and order. Salaki, I think they put this mother and father first. When we're speaking Hebrew, everything is, in our culture, everything is rank and order. Right? If you're speaking to a group of men and women, a plural word you would use, you would always use the masculine. Right? We put the man above the woman in our culture. Avaka. We have kabod. Kabod is honor. We have honor. We have Abba is father. Abba is father. Kabad, Abba, Ka, Wa, and Amma, mother, Ka. Thy mother, Abba, Ka is thy father. Kabad, Abaka, Wa, Amaka. All right. That's 5. We got honor thy mother and father. Kabad, Kabad, Abaka, Wa, Amaka. Kabad, Abaka, Wa, Amaka. Right? Let's see if we can spell that out. So in the Hebrew, it would be Kabah, Kabah, Kabah. Is that how we say it? Kabah, Kabad. Slakia. Kabad, Kabad, uh, Abba. Then we have a Ka, Abaka. We have a Wa, uh, Ma. Right? Kabad, Abaka, and thy mother. Kabad, Abaka, Wa, Amaka. All right. This is the 6th commandment. Thou shalt not kill. So what would we start with? La'ah. La'ah, which means no. What is this? Thou shalt not kill. La'ah, Thara. In the Hebrew, that's murder. Tazah. la'a, thara, tazah. Right, so we read everything right to left. Thara, la'a, tazah. Thou shalt not murder. All right, number 7. 7 is thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, in the Christian church, they've taught adultery is a woman sleeping, or salakia, a man sleeping with another woman, and a woman sleeping with another man. But something you'll come to learn is that Christians don't understand the Bible, right? So what is adultery? The Bible tells us what everything is. You understand? You can't look up a word like, for instance, the word virgin, read it in the English to understand what the Bible is talking about, right? The Bible started off in Hebrew, or in the New Testament, many times it's Greek. And so when you're trying to understand these words, you have to go to the original language, right? That word virgin in the New Testament means a young woman. Understand? Whereas in English in 2021, it means somebody who's never had sex with somebody. You understand? That's two different meanings, right? Even if you go back a couple hundred years ago, in English, the word virgin meant a young woman. All right? So this word adultery, if you go to the book of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10, it says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Understand? In our culture, which we're trying to come back to, in our culture, it's very normal for a man to have multiple wives. Understand? Adultery is not a man sleeping with another woman. Adultery is a man sleeping with another man's wife. Understand? So we'll just put that under there just to make it clear. The 7th commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery. Understand? Do not sleep with another man's wife. All right? And in the Hebrew, very simply, just put tha Thana All right. No adultery. All right. Don't sleep with another man's wife. No adultery. All right, we're getting there. I think we got someone in the chat. Oh, we got somebody in the chat. I think you're a brother. Shalom. Will you make it through Judgment Day? Not sure what your name is. Yah Bashim Ashar Barakatah. The water for tuning in. Your question is, hey brother, this is off topic, but later can you tell me if it is possible to celebrate New Moon Day 2 days in a row? I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. We have the Feast of Trumpets, where we celebrate. It lands on the day of a new moon, a new month, right? Moon just means month. Is it possible to celebrate New Moon Day? I'm not sure what New Moon Day is. If you could give me some more information, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. If you're asking about the Feast of Trumpets, memorial of blowing of trumpets, I think that's what you might mean, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you could clarify your question, please clarify it, and hopefully I can get you that answer. All right, so we're going to go to number 8. Eighth commandment, thou shalt not steal. All right, and very simply, don't steal. La, no. All right. No. We have a gana. Gana. All right. Don't steal. No steal. Gana. La, gana. La, gana. right, let's get through this. We got two more. All right. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. All right, we're not going to make this one long either. All right, we got la, tha'ina, right? Tha'ina. And we'll just do shakar. Shakwar. All right, keep that nice and simple. 9, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Don't bear false witness. No bearing false witness. La'ai tha'ina. La'a tha'ina shakwar. Right? Remember that Q is pronounced qua. Shakwar. Right? We have sha. Shakwar. Right? That Q is a qua. Shakwar. La ta'ina shakwar. All right. La ta'ina shakwar. Now let's get this last one. All right, 10. Number 10. Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's. All right, this is something as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians we must stop doing. Understand? We don't have to be envious of one another. We don't got to be envious or jealous of one another. Right? This is something that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we got to stop doing. All right? All these laws, statutes, and commandments, this is our culture. All right? This is something we got to come back to. All right? We got to stop killing each other. We got to start honoring our mother and our father. Right? What does that mean? To take care of our parents when they get older. Right? Just as they took care of us. Right? So we have no coveting. All right? The Kamad call. All right? Call is all. La, the Kamad call. All right? We have Ashara. We have La. Ra'aika. Thy neighbor. All right, those are the 10 commandments. Give you a minute to write that down. All right, La, Taqwa, Kal, Ashura, La, Ra'akai. La, Taqwa, Kal, Ashura, La, Ra'akai. All right. So that's it for today's Lashawan Qadash class. All right. Those are the 10 commandments. All right. We went over some of our basics, our numbers and the characters. Right. Make sure you're practicing the pronunciation of those characters. I'll give you time to write this down. Right. I want to practice the characters Abagadaha, Wazakataya, Kalamana sa, I pa, taza, kwa, rashatha. All right, we practice that, and with that, we're gonna say the Lord's Prayer. We'll do the security announcements, and we'll salute out. All right. So, men of Israel, Imagium, which means stand. All right, Imagium, which means stand in the Hebrew. Sar Panya Hakwadam, all right, and turn and face the east. Sar Panya Hakwadam, all right, we face the east when we pray to our Father, right? We're facing Jerusalem. We're We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. We'll just do the Hebrew. Right? We put our hands out. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abba Nawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Qadash, I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh, Malakwatha, Thaba'ah, Ratazakah, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kowa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan Lanawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawabath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawabath Yanawa, Wala'ah, Thabaya Nawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashaya Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'Allah, Wahatha Parath, Lai Walamim, Aman. All right. You can sar, which means turn. All right. Let's do the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. All right. This is I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to marry or to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Ma'ashara, which means 10th in the Hebrew. You can find that in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara means 10th in the Hebrew. 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, please give. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the Feast of First Fruits coming up. That's 2 weeks from now, which is on June 21st, Monday, June 21st. If you're in Canada, you can contact Officer 500 Zabadia. All right, if you're in Montreal, you can contact Officer of 1000 Adiyar, or if you can contact your camp leader. The camp leader of Canada is Officer 5000 Aban. All right, with that, men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. All right, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yahaba Shemel Shabrak Atham, Yadiam Matah, which means hands down. Going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yah Shamar Alathan Bashim Al Shai, Yadiam Matah, which means hands down. Class dismissed.